Welcome to Geek Caring, a critical geek culture podcast where we talk about intersectional and inclusive feminism in a male-dominated environment. Hi, my name is Moni, and with me today is my lovely, glorious, amazing Floridad in the sunshine sitting on a bar stool that's a bit uncomfortable, but still glorious co-host Amanda. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing gloriously, thank you.
Gloriously.
Gloriously.
I love that for you.
It may or may not be true, but you said it so many times that I feel like I need to adopt glorious as my descriptor of this fine Tuesday morning.
Love that. I mean, you're in the sunshine, you fleet the cold, so I feel like that's kind of fitting that.
That's true. That's true. I did watch the sunrise over the lake this morning, and because I've been awake since a very, very early time, and that's a great start to the day.
I mean, the sunshine is a great sunrise, not the sunshine.
Sunrise.
The sunrise is a great start to the day, but on the other hand, the waking up, not so much.
I know. It's okay. I get to see all the gorgeous birds. So many birds here. Aww. And I like that a lot.
That's some details for Yuffie right there. She can tell you what all the birds are about.
True.
But I mean, I would only be like bird. I wouldn't even be able to differentiate.
It's a bird that's got a really big wingspan and a really small head.
Really? That's what she said. It's a big wingspan and really small head.
I remember when Mom and Dad first bought this place, they moved in. They were telling me that they were watching these ducks out in the lake, and they were like, "What are they doing?" And then Mom's like, "They're fighting." And then they looked again. They're like, "They're fornicating."
They're fornicating.
Fornicating. And then they were like, "Oh my god, we just watched duck porn." So you see everything down here, you know? You never know what you're going to get when you wake up and look out the window.
Oh, wow. I mean, how many people or animals otherwise have you seen fornicating in front of your window?
I mean, okay, well, that's irrelevant. I'm just saying, like, it could happen.
All right. I mean, good for you, I guess. I don't know what to say to this. Congratulations. Oh, okay. Yet. Yeah.
Yep. That's how Florida goes sometimes. That's how Florida be.
That's how Florida be. Love that for you. No, but it's really.
Yeah.
How long are you over there?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I kind of thought it were going to be longer.
I know. It's shorter than it normally is when I come to North America. It's usually like 2 months or 11 months or, oh, she accidentally moved home. Is she ever coming back?
I don't know. I mean, fascinating situation though. Well, that technically happened, but that's the glory of being self-employed because nobody gives a fuck where you actually live.
True.
I mean, aside from governments, maybe.
Well, governments.
I mean, they have big opinions.
Who like live in one place and they're like, "I miss you. Are you coming home?" No, sorry. I live here now.
No thanks.
And then you leave, and then your friends from there are like, "Are you ever coming back?" And it's like, no. No, I live over here now.
Never.
Fine. Travel life.
Yeah. So, but it also means like a lot of friends all over the world. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I kind of thought it was 5, not that 2 additional weeks makes a massive difference, but here we are. In my head,
it kind of does. I was talking to my D&D friends the other night, the ones that are here. I realize I have many groups of D&D friends, but the ones that live in Canada, who I was like playing D&D with 2 to 3 times a week when I was here for 10 months stretch last year. And I was like, so I'm in your time zone. And but they've parked my character in a place that is inaccessible at the minute, so it's kind of
no.
Which is fine, but it's like if we unpark her and I play, then we need to find a way to park her again.
Aw. I mean, the
But
DM can figure something out.
oh yeah, I've actually been like role playing with him in text messages, like over Messenger, role playing like what's happening to my character right now, so that if and when I do get to play, I can be like, I had such a great adventure. Look at all the stuff that I did. This is so cool.
Cool. Well, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
It's very, what an investment D&D is into emotional and life and creativity and things. It's just mind-blowing.
I love it. Love it.
Like,
Anyways,
role
how are
play is
you?
not
We've talked about me for like 5 minutes here. Your turn. How are you? Are you glorious?
I don't know. Today is not a glorious day. Today is a day that
That's
you
true.
could technically take as it is and like put it away. And not that it's because it's particularly bad or whatever, but I've wasted so much time doing absolutely nothing while looking particularly busy.
You also had your accident, so
I did have my accident. I'd like a proper
I
old
wasn't sure if
lady,
you're
I
going to
slipped
tell
in the
anyone,
shower.
but
Oh,
like
yeah, it's
I just
totally
wanted.
fine. Yeah. Like a proper old lady, I slipped in the shower. And I smashed my cheek, my shin, my cheek, and the palm of the other side of my hand right into the walls and steps and shit. So a fall less embarrassing. I mean, my shin doesn't look great. I can't wait for this to turn blue so I look like as if my boyfriend is punching me. Because that's particularly something I look forward to. And the palm of my hand hurts, like right here. Because that's where I like kind of caught myself while kissing the wall. I don't think my shin looks great, but because that's in pain and it was kind of swollen when I last looked at it, and I think it's gonna get really, really blue. But we will see. Again, haven't looked at it since this morning, but the pain is with me. But yeah, that's what happens when you run away from a potential person who rang the doorbell and you just kind of want to avoid every contact. So you're like, I'm just gonna go into the shower real quick so that I don't have to so I can avoid this interaction. And it wasn't even very quick, and it was probably just karma being like, don't be a fucking idiot. But I mean, I take it. It was worth it.
Totally worth it. Door.
Yeah. I don't know why it happened. It just happened. My leg just like slid away. And then I made like
Did they make that noise as well?
Yes. I just made like some half splits there, and then it was an adventure for sure.
And then you were on your ass and shin. And
no, it was kind of on my knees because of how I felt. It was very stupid as complicated, but it's fine. I'm not gonna die. I think.
Well, that's comforting. I'm really glad you're not gonna die.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. Maybe some people did, but I'm not. I don't plan on leaving this earth by a slip in the shower. I mean, I can't promise that, but the slip in the shower won't be the reason, because that would be really fucking pathetic, and I'm not here for that.
True. True. Just as an aside, can you hear somebody hammering in my background?
I can't.
No?
That doesn't mean that it's not there, but I really can't. But I also only have you in one ear.
I'm just trying to make sure, because I mean I can't do anything about it, but there is somebody hammering, and I'm like, apartment life.
Apartment life. I mean, it's not that you don't have weird shit happening in the house as well. We have children and lawnmowers and tractors and shit. Tractors? I don't
remember what day grass cutting is, but that's going to be a thing that I think I'm going to have to navigate around too.
It's only 3 weeks, apparently. And then we will meet already, almost.
Do you know that I am recording like 7 things in the 3 weeks that I'm here? And I'm
what the fuck, man?
This is so many things.
That is not great planning, that.
I mean, production life?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I
mean, you chose that life, so I feel like that's your crux to carry.
Yep, that's fine.
But yeah,
no problem.
which means in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then we already need to ask people about meeting and shit, because otherwise it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true. If you're in London, the second week of March, like let us know because maybe we can hang out.
Yes. Cool. But this is not why we're
Okay.
here today. We don't plan for
I'm having a
hookups.
great time though, so maybe we should just
don't
shit. No.
We can just talk when we can.
No, for sure. No, we're here to talk about quite a serious discussion that Moni and I had started together on Friday.
It's true, Friday, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
we were
why
like,
was it so late in the
great
week?
episode topic.
Yes, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
It is also not researched, it's more of a
Personal
storytelling.
experience.
Exactly, personal experience. Because I also do think that not a lot of people, like I haven't heard personal experiences about this before, and I feel like more people need to talk about this, even if it's just personal experiences, because otherwise, because then you're like, oh, this is me, you know? That's
Exactly.
why we're doing this.
Yes. So we are talking about Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, or PCOS, or PCOS, as it may or may not be known as. People keep saying, "Oh, you have PCOS," and I'm like, I've never heard anybody call it that before. So yes, I do. Okay.
I heard it for the first time now. You saying it, so equally, I'm like,
is this a
is
thing
that
that people call it PCOS?
I don't know. Nobody here calls it PCOS.
No. And somebody even called it PCO, and I was like, PCO. That sounds like some kind
We
of
call
paid
it
time off
PCO
or
here.
something. I'm like, there is an
It's
S
not
there.
PCOS here. I know, but it's because it's the PCO syndrome.
Yeah.
So that's why they switch it up. The PCO. That's why they would call it PCOS. PCOS. Liz calls it PCOS. We don't have peacocks.
I wish. That'd be so much better. So, Moni, for people who don't know, what is PCOS?
That's a good... Well, PCOS is a... Well, is it a metabolic syndrome? It's like a... Well, it's a thing that people with uteruses get. Let's just call it that. And it actually entails so many things that for a very long time I wasn't aware, and especially actually until last Friday, I wasn't aware how much it actually entails. But basically, it's something that people with uteruses get diagnosed with potentially very early on on the moment they start with what's it called? They start to menstruate. Can also happen like later in your life, which is something that people kind of have or develop. And some symptoms like that are that you're fat, you have higher testosterone, therefore you also have like probably quite a few hairs growing where usually they're not really growing, especially when you're born with uterus. And what else?
A lack of a regular period, like a very irregular period, and potentially having actual cysts inside your ovaries.
Yes. And also acne is also part of it. Like people with PCOS often can have really, really bad skin as well. And this also brings up some other things that, for example, I wasn't aware that this is an actual issue until maybe last week, or maybe like not fully aware of that, because the way I got to know that I had this was because I went to the OBGYN doing the regular checking thing. They just mentioned is something on the side, and it's never been really talked about it again. Like, it's not something that somebody said to me, oh, look, you have this. This is what will cause X, Y, Z. In fact, it was just a thing that I was not massively concerned with, because having irregular periods is not the worst thing on the planet.
True.
Especially when you're not really one who celebrates them, which is fair. Like, and as a lot of people celebrate having them and enjoy having them or whatever. I personally am not one of those. I'm fine with not having anything happen like this. So I was just like, whatever. I just bleed like 3 times a year nowadays, maybe 1 time a year. That's totally fine with me and sounds way better than having it happen every 28 fucking days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Liz says she was diagnosed at 16, told that she might have fertility issues, and that was the reason why she was a fussy butt and told no more. Yeah, I don't even think anybody told me anything about anything related to that, to be honest.
I definitely didn't have anything like that told to me. I think I was 12 when I got diagnosed, when I had like an ultrasound and I had it all checked out, and like, because I have to have been around 12, maybe 13, because like I got my period early. I got it when I was 11, and I was living in the States at that time, and I guess something was wrong. I mean, I know something was wrong because obviously I don't want to get too detailed, but things were not great with it. And so mom took me to the doctor, and yeah, I got referred and got diagnosed at 12 or 13 with PCOS, and not really told anything about it at the time. Like, just like, oh, you've got some cysts on your ovaries, and you're going to have like a weird period. But like, that was kind of it. Then we moved back to Canada, and I mean, my doctor, and he was the doctor that I had like when I was a baby. So like my lifelong family doctor, he literally like treated my entire family, my grandparents, my mom, all of my aunts and uncles, all of my cousins. Like, he was our doctor. And he didn't really care. He was just like, the only thing I could really do for you is put you on birth control. And I was like, well, I don't really want to be on birth control. But yeah, I'm fine. He's like, do you care that you don't have a period? And I was like, well, no, not really. Because what teenage girl is like, I really want my period every month. That's great.
That's such a great experience. It's like wonderful, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, when the period products weren't as elaborate as they are nowadays. You're just like, yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So when I moved over to Northern Ireland and I got a new doctor, and like I had all my medical records shipped for, I don't even remember how much it was to ship them, but it was not cheap. And so they had access to all of my files, and I was like, so yeah, you can see my files. Like, I've got PCOS, like polycystic ovaries. Should we be doing anything about this? Like, I'm in my 20s now. I feel like we should do something. Like, I don't know. Is it something you just sit there? And they were like, do you want to have a baby? And I was like, I mean, not particularly. They're like, well, then we have nothing to worry about. And I was like,
nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
And then years later, you find out accidentally, well, not accidentally, because you are on some path of looking up things, you realize that, hey, there are other issues that are also affected by said thing that everybody just keeps pointing out to you, and you just feel like the biggest piece of shit for this not being right. And when in fact this is all connected. For example, I always have really shit vitamin D levels. And they literally said to me at the doctor's office, my vitamin D levels are those of a small child just born, or the ones or comparable to very old people who can't leave their house anymore. Which translates to me, you're such a lazy bastard, you're not leaving the house enough, therefore you have a shit vitamin D level. Only like 3 weeks ago did I accidentally come across an article, because I was reading up on other things, that this is a side effect of PCOS as well. And I'm just like,
what?
Like that makes a difference, right? I have something that is, yeah, it's like, I never in my life, as you say, they put you on birth control. So you get the pill prescribed, and then you're like, well, even when you're like 16 and then you don't deal with it well, and you're like, I don't really want these artificial hormones. And in my head, it didn't make sense, right? So I know that there was one conversation with my OBGYN about this, where I was like, what can be done about this? And she just said, yeah, you can take the anti-baby pill or the birth control pill or whatever, and then you end, like, you stop with that, and then you hope the cycle is normal again. And in my head, that made no sense, right? Like, how can I, like, all I'm training my body to do is not work properly already with some artificial hormones that I already can't deal with properly. Yeah, and Faith says in chat, my sister has PCOS, and I guarantee she has not been told this. 100%, I swear. This is
because
like,
doctors don't care to tell people. They're just like, unless it's a, like, I don't even know, like, even to say, like, unless you're dying, they don't really care. And especially, like, women's health is so under-researched and underfunded, and, like, male doctors especially, don't really care. And exactly like Faye says, the doctor is only about addressing weight. And it's like, So, okay, but we're struggling to lose weight. Can you help us lose weight? So
that is...
I had that. I went to the doctor and I was like, I am really struggling to lose weight. I've been going to the gym dedicated for like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. I've had this process quite a few times now. I'm eating well. I'm tracking my food, like everything that's in my mouth. And I lost 8 pounds in like a 10-month stretch. And I'm like, this is a struggle. Like, what's going on? And what did they do? They put me on medication that made me like, it was not pleasant. It was going to be very graphic. And I'm like,
that made me like, it was not pleasant.
It was like a very expensive medication, and it made it so that my body physically could not process fat. So you can imagine how unpleasant that was. So I had to like not eat any additional fat, and like if I did, it was a bad time. I'm just gonna leave it there. It was a bad time. And
you had proper ass piss for a very long time, is what you're saying.
Yes, but it wasn't even like ass piss. It was just like fat.
Ooh.
Like, it was gross. It was awful. Like, it was not nice. Like, never mind. I really want to tell you, but I also like it's really gross. So I'm like, if you don't want to hear, just stop listening. It was like the oil you get on top of like a really oily, greasy Indian takeaway, that like those globs of orange fat. And that was what was coming out of me. And I'm like, how is this the solution?
Oh, this is fucking I'm so sorry, you are not disgusting, but it's just pissing me off to a degree where I can't even voice that anymore, because I'm so annoyed, because as people in chat often say, there are a couple of things that I mentioned. Most of the time people are overweight, the hair issue and the vitamin D issue, the losing weight issue, the insulin resistance, which is also part of like getting you tend to be affected with diabetes more, also because and then you have all of this, take all of these things separately, and the first thing that people say to you is you're too fat and you need to lose weight. So on the one hand, you're too fat and you have PCOS because you're too fat, but you're also too fat because you have PCOS, right? So, and nobody's fucking giving a shit about it. All they do is blame you for your own situation, but nobody is helping you. Like, and nobody is even giving you the full picture situation. And based on what the reason why it even came up for me is because we're going to this clinic about fertility situation now. And the doctor to me just said I need to do this glucose resistancy thing, and then I potentially get something in combination with folic acid that will help the insulin resistancy thing. So now I'm like, well, now I get something if I want it, but during my everyday life, otherwise nobody gives a fuck or what? Like, just because there is potential, like we want to potentially have a child, this is why it's important enough for you to now support me in it. But in the 38 years minus 12 24 years that I've been living with the fucking period and having issues with it already. Nobody gives a fuck and just blames me for everything. Like for being too fat, for not moving enough, for like, fuck all of you. Fuck, literally fuck all of you.
All of these years, where has been the help to get us so that we aren't at this point?
Nobody cares.
It's not there. No one cares.
There isn't a bigger, like, you can't, the sign couldn't be any bigger that says, fuck you all, we don't give a shit, right in your face. Then, like, I've never felt it so, I've never felt this so hard than right at this moment, because I'm like, well, fuck you so hard. Literally.
Yeah. It's very true. So, because the doctors didn't care, I kind of didn't care either. Did you get to that point, anyone? Because I was like, well, if they're not concerned, I shouldn't be concerned.
Right? I never kind of really did. Again, I was always fat. So that when people in society tells you you're the worst person for being fat already anyway, so you just sit with that separate, there are so many separate issues connected to it, right? So you just sit with that guilt of being fat all the time, which everybody says is your own fucking fault anyway. And I know to a degree it is, because I really like food and whatever. And also, so you just sit with this guilt. So you kind of shove that aside, and then there are other things that are not that massively problematic. So you just sit with your fat guilt and with your hair, and just find hair in places that you don't want it to grow, and you're just desperate over this. But because everybody makes you feel like it's your own fault, I didn't go anywhere else. Like, I'm just like, well, I'm fat. If I just lost weight, then it would be better. And that's what it was for me too. Like, I lost a lot of weight around my 20 or 24 when I was around that age. And it was better then. It was more regular than and whatever. But at the same time, I was 24 that time, like then, you know, and there were other things going on in my life why that worked for me back then. But like, I didn't go anywhere else. I just felt guilty on my own accord. And I just felt bad for all the separate symptoms that I had no idea were actually connected.
Yeah, the only one that I really knew was the hair. And the hair is a problem. Like, I know we've had this conversation a few times, especially on Twitter. I remember there was one time that we were like, yep, lots of PCOS people have beards. And it's awkward as fuck sometimes. And that was like the only time the only thing that I was really concerned about. I was just like, I wish I didn't have this like neck and chin hair. Like, that'd be great. There's so much more to it. And it was only recently, like, and by recent, I mean within the last 3 or 4 years, because I work mostly with medical and wellness podcasts. And one of the doctors had on a lady who specializes in PCOS treatment. And I was like,
angel singing.
What? I listened to her episode and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And then all of this is affected by PCOS. And then I was like, she has a book. So I immediately bought the book. Bought the book, read it cover to cover, and was just like, oh my God, this explains so much. There is so much going on here. And holy shit, why aren't we told this? Why aren't we helped through this? Why is it this one random American doctor who's specializing in PCOS? And I'm like halfway around the world, and that's how I find out about it, through a fluke of a podcast coincidence. And it's not great. It's not fair that we have to do so much searching on our own. And I know that the medical system is very broken, but still.
I also think a lot of the things can't be so separate, right? Like, I want to also come back to a few comments in chat, because a lot of people are sharing their experiences as well, and I don't want to be like, we're not listening or not reading, but just to throw it out there. I literally had a blood test at an OBGYN's doctor's office. Like, the OBGYN looked at my face and told me my my vitamin D levels. We also, just 5 minutes before, talked about my hair. The only thing she said, it's not that bad, it could be worse. So even the doctor who is supposed to have this as some kind of specialty, because I mean, you can't, this is like, where do people with uteruses come to and get this information? Obviously in one of those doctors' offices, right? Even she didn't put those two things together for me. She didn't put together for me that, oh, you have PCOS, so that's also affecting your vitamin D levels. All she did was give me vitamin D tablets. But she doesn't connect it for me, and nobody else connects it for you. And I can't think it can't be so fucking difficult to have like, this person looks like he's a bit fat and maybe has a lot of hair, because you can't tell me, you can't see my arm hair when you take my blood, right? So the next thing is like, oh, the vitamin D levels are shit. Oh, that's probably connected. Just like this is a checklist that it's all right. So this potentially then maybe ask question: does the person have PCOS? Yes. Okay. Then you can say, okay, this is connected. So you have vitamin D levels all low because of that. I had a test about like full on check a couple of years ago. My pancreas is too older than I was, obviously also to do with insulin. Did they ever ask me if I have anything else? Nobody gives a shit. Nope. How am I supposed to connect the dots when people who are trained in this field are not connecting the dots for me? Like,
but they're not trained in this. They're not trained. They're trained in their thing. And they are not trained to connect all of these random things to help somebody with our condition, because we are people with uteruses, and they don't really care because we don't have penises. And for all of these years, for like almost the entire history of medicine, it has been about the male, the penis form. Like that is the only medicine that is studied. Up until very, very recently, and there are more people studying women's health and people with uteruses health. And so it's a systemic problem, not an individual doctor problem. There are great doctors who will connect the dots and who will help you. But on the whole, it is a systemic problem that women's health and people with uteruses health have long been neglected. And these patterns and these symptoms showing up across people with and commonalities, like it's overlooked because of a systemic option or a systemic issue more than anything.
And also, I think we are not so low in numbers, because I think there are more people having this than you actually know. Like they say, it's just a small percentage of people. They're already in this, like, let's say we're 10 people here. There are already 4 who have it. And other people in the conversation are like, that sounds familiar. Maybe I have a look now. But because maybe you're not that fat and maybe you're not that hairy, but maybe there are other things going on for you that are the same. And that also mean that you have it, because there are some indicators that you don't need to have all of them, right? And so and Erin says, watched his mom go through that, and the best friend as well. Yeah, and you just deal with it and nobody gives a fuck. And a couple of people also mentioned, Gemma said she's having actual cysts that are bursting and nobody cares. Like she's in pain, she's suffering, and nobody gives a shit. And
just says, the wildest, maybe you should lose some weight. Like, there's literal things exploding in my body, but no, I'll just lose weight and that will go away. No problem.
Yeah. And also Liz said they had a review about the sleep apnea. I don't know how you say it in English.
Sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea. And the nurse asked if she had any other conditions, and she was like, oh, PCOS, but that's not linked, is it? And she said it's totally linked. So sleep apnea and PCOS is linked as well. Like, how the actual fuck, nobody fucking knows.
Honestly.
And that's it, right? Also, Gemma says the hormone issues are a system-wide issue. It impacts so much. yet we're just too fat to do anything about it. And
yeah.
literally everywhere you go, nobody is actually looking behind the curtain. Everybody just sees that you're fat and that's it. Like that's
just
the
lose
reason
weight.
for
Like
literally
I'm
everything.
trying. Like if it was that easy to just lose weight, do you not think that maybe we like some of us would? If it was as easy as saying like just lose weight, like someone without a like metabolic syndrome.
Yeah, honestly. It's just so. Go ahead. No, I just wanted to say it's so fucking infuriating, but I already said that 3,000 times today because I'm so annoyed.
So annoyed. Duck this.
Duck this. Seriously. Duck this.
No, so I will recommend a book that I read. It's called PCOS SOS, and it's by Dr. Felish Gersh, and I'll put that in the show notes, a link to it. And because hearing her speak and then reading was so eye-opening to me and frank. Like it was a really frank discussion about like how people, like the medical system has neglected
Failed
women's health for so long.
Yeah.
And how she is focusing her research to help people with PCOS. And then like some really practical things that you can do to try to alleviate your symptoms, like with supplements and with exercise and with helping reset your metabolic clock, which is another thing, like, because we should be trying to like wake up in the morning with the sun and getting outside for a walk. Like that's one of the things she's like, that is really helpful to resetting your metabolic clock. Metabolic, that's not the right word, is it?
Circadian, no, it's not.
Circadian rhythm, that's the one.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah.
Ages ago, because you recommended the book to me, but I never read it in the end. I should have read it, I guess.
It genuinely is a really good book. It recommends like supplements as well, and just the importance of like getting the morning light in the morning, especially if you can go outside and get it. And strength training as well. And I know that Liz has just said that like weight training is something that helped her lose weight, but plateaued because of the insulin resistance. And I get that, but strength training is one of the things that can help your metabolism, help your it's good for so many things, even weight loss aside. Like it's one of the things that will keep you healthier for longer. In terms of like exercise. Sorry, one of my other podcast clients is all about the strength training, and she's a medical doctor. She's actually really awesome, and I really love her podcast. But it's very like, this is why you want to do strength training. Like it's very good. And yeah, like Jinx says, strength training is really great for uterus havers, especially as we age.
I just got distracted by Gemma's comment that she says she can't explain. I can't explain to you how much the cysts actually impact me. Like I had one burst last week and lost 5 pounds afterwards. How am I supposed to work out effectively when they rupture with typical movement? Like Jesus fucking Christ, I need some medical support here. Honestly,
yeah. It's it's so common as well, and I had a work friend years and years ago, and she was not fat, but she had a belly, and she had been trying to get pregnant, and she couldn't, and she's like, I can't lose weight, but I can't lose this bulge in my stomach, but I also can't get pregnant. And eventually she went to the doctor, and they did an ultrasound, and she had a cyst the size of a football, like a soccer ball.
What?
And they were like, yeah. I'm not joking, the size of a soccer ball. And they were like, did you not know that this was there? Like, could you not feel it? She was like, I just thought I was fat. Like, I just thought that I couldn't lose this weight in my belly. And it was only like trying to get pregnant that I was like, maybe there's something wrong. So she had surgery, had it removed, and it was a gigantic cyst. And she got pregnant like a month later. But
it also shouldn't be made the only premise for people to give a shit should not be because they want children.
Exactly. And it
this is also
infuriates
what
me that
pisses me off even
doctors
more.
only care about your health if you want to have a baby. Like, there's more reasons to be healthy. There's more reasons to want to better your life. And I am, like Gemma says, so much more than a baby making machine or a failed baby making machine because we got too much shit going on in our uterus to actually have a baby. Like, there's so many things going on that we just don't know about.
Yeah. Faith is right when she says, but also, why are we surprised when we hear stories about women, stories like this about women, when women are forced to ignore their symptoms all the fucking time? It's like they tell you that this is all unrelated all the time. So now when you have something going on, it's, why did you not notice? Well, because everybody kept also always telling me I'm just fat and I need to lose weight and whatever. And some people just can't lose it at the start at this particular place or whatever bullshit. Oh God, Jinx having a minor stroke years ago, and it's okay. I just need to power through it. Jesus fucking Christ, Jinx. Fuck the patriarchy. Honestly, I'm so annoyed.
Honestly, yeah. Okay, so we've been very doom and gloom. Let's talk about some like positive things that have helped us cope with it that we maybe didn't know, or things that we have learned, or some things that we can share, and maybe, I don't know, just share some, I don't know, any of that stuff.
Sorry, I just want to mention what Gemma also said. I also deserve healthcare even if I'm fat. Even if I'm fat and it's totally caused by my own doing, I still deserve healthcare. That is fucking true also.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just... Liz was also saying, I would like a trusted medical professional's help, not some fucking MLM girl boss selling me diarrhea tea, or some cis dude without a personal training certificate telling me to get on a treadmill with someone my shitty sister has tried to palm on me in the past. Yeah. That's it. I think nobody gives a shit that we are not, like, do people think we don't know? Like, do people think we don't know that we're fat and this is news that they tell us? Like, what, do they think we've never looked in the mirror once or looked down on ourselves that we don't know? But also, why the fuck are we less worthy because of it? Like, why do you give a shit? You need to treat me and fuck off. Like, honestly. It's my problem if I'm sick or not. Like, I need to deal with it, but you don't get to judge me for it. You need to help me. And just because I'm fat, that's not what it says in the, what's it called? The oath that doctors need to make.
Hippocratic oath.
Hippocratic oath. That's not what it says. It says you don't need to help people as long as they are not fat. You need to help everyone.
Yeah. I didn't even mention that when I was in Canada last year, I went to the doctor about an unrelated issue and told them that I also have PCOS and that I had to get re-diagnosed like 30 years later, 20 years later. I was like, are you, what? Like, why do I need to go through this again?
Also, what shit is this?
So shit.
Because on the one hand, there are already a bunch of symptoms that you already have. Like, what the fuck do you need to re-diagnose then? All of a sudden, like what? And then to do what with it? To see if you actually really need help. Like, what is this even? What does this mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if
I only get my period like 5 times a year, and when I do, I bleed for like 1 day. Surely this can't be normal. Well, technically, you actually don't quite fall into the abnormal period category. Really?
Yeah, right.
Really?
Right.
Oh, we did a blood test, and your androgen levels are actually fine. Oh, really? What about everything else?
Fuck all of that. Oh, I also have one fun story that kind of correlates with that. Because I voiced early on in my growing up journey that I grow hair that I don't want to grow. And then because my doctor then basically the one reason that you have is that the one thing that they do for you is giving you the pill. I didn't feel good with that. I was like, I don't want to do that. Makes no sense to me. So instead they gave me another medicine. And this medicine was a hormone pill or whatever. And I felt so bad with it. Like emotionally, I don't know. I don't know how long I could have taken this medicine without trying to end me, because I felt so bad about myself and about life and about everything. And only later did I find out that this medicine that they give me is a anti-cancer medicine that they give men with prostate cancer to reduce like that because they are not allowed to have a lot of testosterone because it makes the cancer worse. So that's what they gave me. Like, and even though I have higher testosterone levels, my testosterone levels are still not as high as a man's testosterone level, right? So they just basically shot with a big, massive cannon at a tiny fucking bird. And I almost died in the process. But I felt so bad that like it ruined me for a while just because I had to take this crap and help me not in the slightest. So there is also literally no and the shoulder shrug situation with which it was dealt with at the same time. I'm just like, meh, whatever kind of thing. And you just feel like everything is with you. Everything is wrong. You are the thing that everything's wrong with, and it's not nobody else. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've had some comments in chat just like about more specific things that PCOS can impact. And I think that that's one of the issues with diagnosing PCOS is that there are so many different things, and not every person with PCOS has everything. PCOS, hey. And so like, and I recognize that there is a difficulty in diagnosing it, and that's why they really do take it down to 3 core criteria for diagnosis. And if you have like 2 of the 3, that's how you get diagnosed. But it's like, which is the cysts in the ovaries, an irregular period, and
testosterone level, hair.
Hair. Mm-hmm. So like those are the three things that they do. Like they base their diagnosis on, but it impacts your vitamin D levels, your B12, your insulin resistance, your sleep apnea, your mood, your generalized anxiety, your depression, your, oh my God, what are the other things? Your magnesium, your ability to process nutrients and vitamins, your weight loss ability. Or your ability to lose weight, your cholesterol, your
oh yeah, cholesterol.
Hair loss.
Oh yeah.
And thin hair.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm waving from the thin hair faction.
Hi. My hairdresser told me for the very first time in my life that I have thin hair, and I was like, no, I have thick hair. And he's like, no, you have a lot of hair, but it's thin. And I was like,
oh, really?
What?
Oh, wow.
So, and I am 36. It's like, how?
I am 36.
Took some math, actually.
Yeah. You got there in the end.
My entire life thought that I have thick hair. But no. So, and yeah, it's not just a fat woman's condition. Slimmer people have PCOS too. Like we have, Moni and I have a shared friend who is quite slender, and she has PCOS.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm just nodding. You need to tell me afterwards.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. Oh yeah. No, I remember now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's true. Has
so, like,
issues with low iron levels. Has issues with
Oh, yes.
acne, dermatitis
acne.
massively, and
Mhm.
just recently she's been taking antibiotics against her skin regularly. It comes out in waves regularly. She never know what it's from. She thinks it's recently she thought it's from jewelry, stopped wearing that nickel thing, and then recently went to a different doctor, and they've asked her if her iron levels are low, because the iron levels also affect the skin. Took iron pills, skin got way better, also bits of PCOS.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. There are so many things, so many different ways that it can affect you and impact your life. And it sucks, and we deserve better.
yeah.
People with uteruses, people with PCOS deserve better healthcare. And when I say, like, I understand why it's difficult to diagnose, I do understand, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't get better healthcare.
I mean, there are so many other things that are difficult to diagnose. You know what I mean? Like, not everything that we fucking have is easy to diagnose, but people still diagnose it properly. Or, like, at least give a shit.
Yeah.
But here, I feel like this is one of the classic things where you can visibly see that nobody gives a fuck. And it's infuriating because it's affecting so many people, and it's annoying as fuck. And all you end up with is feel shit about yourself. But in reality, nobody ever dealt with your situation properly. And that's why you feel even worse about yourself.
Yeah. Apparently, according to Dr. Felish Gersh, my guru on this, there is like a oh my god, I had the word in my head. A evolutionary reason why PCOS exists, and it has something to do with the stamina and endurance levels, and how during like winter people with PCOS have more endurance to be able to go out and like fend during the harder times, and
Interesting.
And to like run away from predators faster, because if managed properly, which 95% of people with PCOS probably don't because of all of the reasons that we just talked about, but if managed properly, it can actually be beneficial to your life, because of these the higher testosterone, the higher levels of endurance. Like it's a thing apparently. I don't know. I obviously do not know very much about this, but that's what she says. So yeah.
Gemma says a 24-year-old guy with a porn addiction can go to the doctor and get Viagra with no questions asked about underlying issues. How are we presenting multiple issues and they can't see the common link?
It's true.
Seriously.
It's very true. Now we did some, I don't remember exactly who it was. I think maybe Liz asked in the chat at some point, did we have any shaving tips?
Well, what I just recently figured out is apparently that this, what is it called?
A safety razor.
Safety razor?
They're like less safe, but they're called safety razors.
That makes no sense because I cut myself with it all the time and it bleeds like a fucking...
I cut myself so badly a couple weeks ago that I was like, is my neck ever going to stop bleeding?
Yeah. So, but it's like the environmentally friendly razor ones where you buy the razor and the razor blade and not the throwaway ones that you get. I got one just recently because I was like, I'm going to try this now. I kind of wanted and I try this now. This makes such a difference with the hair growth afterwards. I had no idea, and I can't explain why it's different. But I feel like they come out less bulky and they come out thinner for some reason. Makes no sense to me in my head because I do think they do the same thing or supposed to do the same thing. But for some reason it's not. Or maybe it's just the first trend. It feels different. I don't know.
No, I also find that like my leg hair especially is a bit on the thinner side than from using a safety razor than from using anything else. So I don't think it's just something that we're making up.
Yeah.
Because it feels better. It feels like a closer shave. And like I'm just looking down at my currently unshaven legs. Um, and like I feel like it comes in a little bit thinner than it has with just using like a shitty plastic razor.
Yeah.
My only gripe with safety razors is that, and I don't know how like eco-friendly digital nomads do this because they have said in Facebook groups in the past that they have no issues traveling with safety razors in their carry-on luggage. Bullshit. I have almost had my razor taken away, and instead I was just like, just take the blades and we'll just keep my razor. I just wish they
What?
were easier to
That's
travel
what I
with.
kept wondering. I never used it for travel because I'm like, nah, that this was too expensive to just give away to some weird security dude. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I traveled once with it and it was fine. And then like the next time they were like, "You can't travel with a razor blade like this." And I was like, "I literally just want to shave my legs, man. That's it. Maybe my tits."
In carry-on luggage, right? You can could
Yeah,
transport it in, yeah.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
you can
never
transport it in your
never
case, but
have checked in luggage anymore. So I'm like,
exactly. So I try to be this like environmentally friendly person with like an environmentally friendly razor. This is just a total aside from the PCOS. And not buy plastic razors anymore. But I travel so much and so often and with hand luggage only, and because I need to shave my fucking neck every single day, I need to buy plastic razors.
yeah,
So, yep.
honestly,
hmm
yeah. I mean, I also use the epilation thing sometimes on
That
areas that
doesn't
you
do
usually don't
anything for
want to.
me.
It doesn't do anything?
Not a thing. I've tried
Really?
everything over the years. Those like crystal pads that you like rub the hair off.
Yeah.
Nope. Those like little things that you like an epilator, but my mom has one for her mustache, and I've tried it, and I'm like,
It's also fucking
oh, this is
painful, is what it is.
exhausting. So I bought a bigger one, and it doesn't do a thing. Um, Nair is kind of good, but it's also like
What?
Nair, like a hair removal cream.
Oh,
That's
no,
not
that
bad.
never works for
It's
me in any of the places.
it works because I tried for so long not to shave my face, like
Mm-hmm.
not my neck, like so I would Nair it, and I put Nair here, and I remember being like, living in a hostel in Edinburgh, like that was a really long time ago in 2006, and
I did
like
that,
sitting
it
in
still didn't work.
yeah, oh no, it did, sitting in like a bathroom stall in the only out of the way bathroom with like Nair all over my neck and playing Snake on my little phone and because I had to wait for so long and I was just like, yep, I have like a really high score on Snake. And like wiping it off because like I didn't want to shave every day, but then like because Nair you have to let it grow in, and I remember like people saying to my girlfriend at the time as well, or my girlfriend like the not at the time, I didn't have a girlfriend in Edinburgh, we were broken up. Anyways, and they were like, Amanda's like got a lot of hair on her neck, and she was like, yeah, I know, but like, what can she do? And then she
What?
told me, and I'm like, thanks so much. Now you're just making me really self-conscious, but like, I know that's not what you meant. You just want me to not have hair on my neck. Okay, I get it. But like, then that's eventually why I stopped using Nair because I wanted to be
You
hair
don't want it
free.
to look like a 3-day beard from other
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult.
hmm
I prevented or tried to prevent the shaving my face for ages because I was like,
Same.
it's just gonna get more, and I'm not get like it's just, and eventually I need to shave every day, and fuck all of that, and yeah, I mean, work
I'd
from
be
home helps a bit.
true. I'd be really curious about people with PCOS who have tried electrolysis, like more permanent ways of removing hair.
I did that once on my face.
How,
It's so fucking painful.
but did you just get it once? Because like I know
No, you
that
need to do it a couple of times.
yeah, and I was always told that like if I went down the electrolysis road, that because the hair is formed by hormones, that it will just come back. So I never tried it, but I actually don't know the truth behind it.
They are never like, the way I've read it always was that it's never a very permanent thing. Anyway, like it's something that you do a lot of the times. It will reduce the hair growth. They will come back thinner, and you will have longer periods of time where you don't need to do it, but you will eventually always need to go back and do it. And yes, it's only, I also have this IPL thing from Philips that's doing the thing with the laser bit, but that also only works if you have dark hair and like light skin. Exactly. It's not effective for black folks. It's also not effective for people with blonde hair or red hair. It needs to be, and you need to be the right skin tone for it as well. If you tan better and stay tanned more, that's also not really helpful. Like it depends on the melanin. I'm not sure it's something in the hair or something, the hair melanin, and skin. I don't know. Maybe it's the melanin. I'm not entirely sure now. Maybe it's melanin. I'm not. But I did that a while, and I did know, for me, I think I have like the ideal mixture of both, like tight skin. I don't have tight skin, light skin and dark hair. I did it under my armpits for a while, and you could literally see like the patches but you need to do it really regularly. Like the self-use IPL thingy, which consistency is my issue in life with everything, basically. But you could see it was fascinating that you saw the patches where it stopped growing back, because you need to get the hair in the process while it grows. So you need to repeat it every like 2 weeks or whatever. And I did the one on my face at the doctor's. This is the fucking painfulest thing I have ever experienced in my life. That's not true, but it hurt so bad. And yeah, I had maybe a couple of months, and it's like back in full force already. And because it's also quite expensive actually to do it, I stopped doing it too.
Oh.
And again, you need to have the right combination of everything. So if you're a red-haired woman with a lot of hair, you're screwed. If you're a black woman with hair, you're screwed. Yeah.
It will be so lovely. It'll be a really great bonding experience. Gemma said in chat, I can't wait for all of us to shave together the morning of the wedding. So true.
Like Gemma tried to make things sound really horrible for me, and I was like, do you think I really give a shit? And I already have like 90% of the hair you're telling me I'm gonna grow, so what do you mean?
Oh gosh. So my final thoughts on PCOS. I just wish we knew more and there was more help available.
Yeah. Definitely. I wish I didn't feel like nobody cared. Would I have had some heart issue and a broken heart valve or some other hormonal issue, people would, if I had my thyroids, people would also care more. Yeah. But the thyroids are fine, everything else is shit, but I feel like...
That's another thing that's often linked to PCOS is the thyroid. Throwing that in there right at the end.
Yeah, so basically everything's connected, nobody gives a shit and nobody knows.
And we would love to know your thoughts on PCOS and the broken medical system and all of the things. You can let us know on social media, or you can join us in Discord, where we will very happily continue this conversation. And we always have a health and wellness channel eventually to have safe discussions about health and medicine and all of this stuff. So you can find our Discord at geekcaring.com/Discord.
Exactly. And next week we will have a less intense episode, I think.
Yeah, we've put Geek Girl in the news off 2 weeks in a row now because we've had like something more pressing to talk about. So
yeah, and the news, we just take news whenever they come. Like we're not bound to months anymore.
No, where it is like, oh, this is more important than news.
It's true.
And we have a really cool interview lined up in 2 weeks with a awesome American author and geek, author and geek.
Author and geek.
Author and geek. And it's not too late to join the Geek Herring Book Club if you would like a free copy of the digital book to join us for that discussion.
Love that. So we see us again, we see us again and you again next week for another amazing episode of Geek Herring.
See you then. Bye.
Bye. There we go.
There we go.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Casey.
everyone for sharing everything.
Thanks. That was a heavy episode, and I had no idea that there were so many of us in this community that's
it, right? There's so many of us. People say we're in the minority, but there's so fucking many of us.
Everyone was just like, me too, me too, me too.
Me too. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Fussy butts unite. High five.
High five. And yes, Faith, we have Geek Herring Productions Book Club every approximately 2 months. And we're currently reading Fat On, Fat Off by Clarkisha Kent, which is who is a Black American author and entertainment writer who is really awesome. We're interviewing her in 2 weeks. And if you'd like to join us, you are very, very welcome. I can DM you the link to download the book if you would like to do that.
I think there was a quick stream hiccup because I just have like red icons right now. So if you didn't hear that properly, book club.
Book club. Hi, Flinksy.
Hi, Flinksy.
Oh, just a minor one. My bad.
I'm sorry we triggered a bunch of you, though.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's the tea. That's the tea about fat people's health. Nobody cares.
Oh, welcome to the Discord, Faith. Thanks so much.
I think
I'm sure someone will let you in soon.
Yeah.
Better to know, Debs. Better to know than not know, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely, like, I don't know. Especially, I mean, I especially have some crux with my stupid woman's doctor. Anyway, because that's the same person who, while taking my blood and reminiscing about my high testosterone levels, that tells me how great this is that I have high testosterone level because it makes me more self-confident, right? And I just keep sitting there.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's the same one. I just keep sitting there looking in her face and I'm like, if this is the self-confident version of me, then there would literally not exist a non-confident because this is bullshit that. Yeah. After this challenge, I found a prenatal one with BT, B12, folic acid, and inositol, which I can share. It helps with insulin. Yes.
Yeah, I take inositol when I'm at home. I really should be better at bringing it to Florida with me, but anytime I have done it before, I'm like, I just don't take them. But it's a powder, and I take it every day.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they want to give me, because they said I need to wait for my insulin resistance test, and then I will get some folic acid with something else again, apparently. Anyway, fuck all of that.
Fuck it all.
Exactly, Erin. I'm like, Erin, testosterone gives you confidence, don't you know? It clearly is. All the men in the world with a lot of testosterone 100% always feel really fucking confident all the fucking time.
Absolutely, obviously.
Honestly.
It's almost like doctors don't get enough training, or enough training in the right things, or enough training to actually help women, or enough research and funding to look into people with uteruses.
Honestly, so annoyed. So annoyed. Anyway, do we want to rate someone? But I think I need to kind of dip.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like 11:30 in the morning, and I have so much to do today, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be bitches today and just gonna end the stream.
Yeah. And
you
just,
all
like,
disperse in places you would love to go.
Go where you want to go.
Go where you want to go.
Um,
Almost like medicine likes to cram the entire population into a single box. Yeah, literally.
mm-hmm. Yeah, please use the health and wellness channel when you get access to it to chat about this stuff. It happens at level 5.
Cool beans.
Just so you know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Enjoy your days, friends. See you in Discord, and I'll see you again tomorrow if you come to the Carta Tavern.
Yes. More tomorrow, same times, and well, not same time, but same station.
Almost the same time. Same place.
Have a good one. Bye.